Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here on WDBJ 7 Plus. I'm Michaela Shelton. We begin this morning with breaking news out of Fairfax County, where police are investigating a murder-suicide involving former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Now, police believe the murder happened in the basement of the home, and at some point after shooting his wife, Justin Fairfax ran upstairs in the home to the primary bedroom where he shot himself. The couple has 2 children who were both home at the time of the shooting, and one of them called 911. Stay with us online and on air as we bring you updates on this tragedy. And over in the Bannister district of Pittsylvania County, frustration is growing as crashes become more common at the intersection of Route 57. Tanisha Jackson spoke with neighbors who say it's only a matter of time before this happens again.
Driving on Route 57 east of Chatham can be confusing, especially at the intersection of 640 Spring Garden Road and Java Road.
And the intersection itself is it's not perfectly 90 degrees. It's not a perfect 90-degree angle. There is an angle to the roadway there. There is a stop condition in two directions, and then there's not a stop condition in the other two.
Neighbors in the Bannister district say they have experienced accidents at the intersection for years.
Mostly when I come through, I'm normally braking, slowing down, because you never know who go run out. And this is a busy road.
VDOT says 10 accidents have happened since 2017, including a fatal crash that killed a 46-year-old woman and the passenger, a 4-year-old girl, on March 27th.
I was sitting at the house. I actually heard from there and rode up here, and they lost their lives. And then not only that, a week after that, me and Hayes, we sitting down there at my house. We heard the tires hollering, and then we heard the bang.
After the latest crashes, neighbors say they're pushing for changes.
A light needs to be put there. You know, it's a 4-way, but someone that is not accustomed to the area could go right through it.
It got to be something to let them know it's a stop sign.
Something going to have to be done with the casualties that can happen right here already.
VDOT says it's actively investigating the intersection.
We are going to take a closer look at this one, and if there are things that we feel we need to do to make that intersection safer, we will do so.
Residents say they're hoping action follows those words. In Pennsylvania County, Tanisha Jackson, WDBJ 7.
And the man accused of setting a council member from one of our hometowns on fire is expected to appear in court today. According to online court records, a plea hearing is set for Shotzi Buck Hayes. This is video from his last court appearance. He's accused of lighting Councilman Lee Vogler on fire. Back in July of last year, Buck Hayes allegedly poured gasoline on Vogler at his workplace and then set him on fire outside the building. He's charged with attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding, as well as others. I actually spoke to Councilman Lee Vogler last year, and he shared the pain he experienced from his injuries.
It was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. You know, I've broken bones, I've had concussions. None of that compares to what I felt going through that and still kind of continue to go through.
And Vogler has since returned to City Council. Today's hearing is expected to start at 3 this afternoon, and our very own Layla Mitchell will be there to bring us the results. And Virginia State Police has a new system in place to make sure you're not driving too fast through some of the work zones out on I-81. Austin Hicks has more. Well, it looks like that video is not wanting to play for us right now, so we'll try to get that to you later in the show. But let's transition over to pickleball. That sport has really exploded in popularity over the past few years, but there are some injuries that could potentially come from it. So in this Hometown Health, Amir Massenberg tells us some ways that you can prevent those injuries.
It's hard to know the exact number of pickleball players, but an estimated 24.3 million people in the U.S. took to the courts in 2025. That's participation growth of 479% since 2020.
That it is the fastest growing sport in the U.S. across the entire age spectrum.
Dr. Trishul Kapoor with Cleveland Clinic says pickleball provides a number of physical and mental health benefits. But with any sport, injuries are bound to happen. Kapoor says he commonly sees players with shoulder joint and rotator cuff injuries, wrist injuries, muscle strains, ligament sprains in the knees and ankles. He says preventing injuries starts with preparing your body before playing pickleball.
When joints and muscles are not adequately warmed up, and it's exactly what it means, literally, there's not enough blood flow to the region, there's not enough relaxation, elasticity to the tissue, they're more prone to injury.
Kapoor says it's also important to have the proper equipment. That includes appropriate shoes with cushioning and good grip to prevent slips and falls, having the right paddle for your body and hand size to lower the risk of wrist injuries, and avoid tight or confining clothes that can impact how your body moves. Finally, he says to focus on posture and your technique. And if you do get hurt, see a doctor.
It's important to pay attention to your symptoms, not just walk away from it or brush it off and say it's not important. Keep track of it, write it down if you can't remember what's going on, and if it persists, get it evaluated.
Dr. Kapoor says bad habits in a pickleball player's technique and posture can easily form. So he suggests that as people get more involved in the sport, they should watch and learn from professional pickleball players and trainers about appropriate technique.
All right, and that was Amir Massenberg reporting there. Lynchburg's burn ban continues today. It was put into place yesterday and was reinstated today due to the potentially record-breaking high temperatures combined with the low humidity, dry fuels, and gusty southwest winds. The city is asking residents to properly dispose of cigarette butts, matches, and any other flammable items in appropriate containers. Most dry grasses, dead leaves, and other tree litter could easily ignite and spread fire quickly. All right, now let's try to watch Austin Hicks' package again on those I-81 speed cameras.
Interstate 81. Thousands use it every day and millions drive on it every year. Maybe you've driven on it so many times, the background and the roads just blend together. But if you take a closer look, you'll see a small difference that could lead to you coughing up some cash. Speed cameras. They've been installed by Virginia State Police in the work zones along mile markers 225 and 221 in Augusta County, with the goal of getting drivers to pump the brakes. The average speed limit along I-81 is 70 miles per hour. But in work zones like this, that limit drops to 60 miles per hour. VSP says these cameras will monitor the zone, and anyone who drives 10 miles per hour higher than the limit will be issued a $100 fine. So how is this different from your average speeding ticket? For one, it won't add points onto your driving record or impact your insurance. The goal of the program is to reduce crashes and injuries in the Commonwealth's major highway work zones through increased awareness and compliance to the speed limit.
All right, good reporting by Austin Hicks there. Definitely want to slow it down if you're planning to head out to I-81 or any road for that matter. But this is definitely, I think, will make a difference out there. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back from this quick break, we are going to take a look at your first alert hometown weather forecast. Our chief meteorologist, Justin Pavic, is going to join us to talk about what we can expect for the rest of the week. Stay with us. Welcome back to WDBJ 7 Plus. Thanks for staying with us. We're joined now by our chief meteorologist, Justin Pavic. Justin, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing well. Trying to stay cool. How about you, Michaela?
Yeah, same here. Yeah. The heat is here, and we are going to talk about it, along with the drought, unfortunately.
Yeah, the two going hand in hand, and then, of course, you have the high fire danger as well. So I'm not really a fan of the heat here. I'm sure some people are. We don't have that high humidity. There are some negatives to that we've got to discuss here as well. But, you know, we're in rare territory, believe it or not. If you see 90 degrees more than once in April, there's only about a handful of other years that's happened. And this goes all the way back into the 19 teens. So we're talking about over 100 years of data here. One day so far this April, and that was yesterday. I think we come close today. And we could see another one as we head our way into Saturday. I mean, we're off to a very, very fast start here. This morning's temperatures only bottoming out into the mid to upper 60s, up to 80 right now already in Roanoke. 79 degrees there toward Danville, Martinsville, into the 70s, and even 81 degrees there, in fact, toward Lexington. The reason being is, of course, we have tons of sunshine, so that's allowing, again, that sun to heat up the ground pretty quickly, then the air in turn, and I think more sunshine is on the way this afternoon. In terms of the fire danger concerns today, the highest, again, running, say, from Roanoke, Craig County, Franklin County, Patrick County, points to the east, especially as you head your way northbound into Highland County, and that's where the wind actually has what we call a red flag warning. That's kind of level up from what you're seeing right here. And that definitely means to take caution if you're going to be out and about. Again, absolutely no flipping those cigarette butts. Out and about, you know, only takes a little bit of friction there to cause some big time concerns. Temperatures for today, upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. Mountain locations well up into the 80s as well. So like we were yesterday and like we will be again Saturday, we are on record watch. Many of the records here go back into the early 2000s, and in Blacksburg's case, likely to break the record set back in 1941. Hey, temperatures for tonight, another warm one. Look at that, only into the 60s, a very comfortable evening. Of course, when you take humidity out of the equation. Still have our hometown home run forecast slated for Friday. I think we'll shave off about 5 degrees on the high, so it makes it a little bit more manageable and tolerable, especially in the mountains, where I think highs around Hot Springs and Covington will be into the 70s, so the 70s will be on our side. All right, the next big thing we're following here is a weekend cold front. Out ahead of it, we have the heat Saturday. Back behind it, we have the cooler air, and hopefully at least a couple of showers kicking in here by Sunday. Want to throw some stats at you here. We've got a marathon coming up, the Blue Ridge Marathon on Saturday, and this one looks to be a very warm one. Now, of course, the race goes on in the early morning hours. Most of the race is kicking off around 7:30. Temperatures at that point would be cooler. However, we are looking at temperatures climbing back up into the 80s to low 90s for the afternoon, so this would be a record-setting year with that regard. It would be nice if we could see that cold front come through here a little bit earlier. We're close to 20 degrees above the average. Here's the forecast again as it stands around race time, start time, 7:30, 7:35, around 62 degrees. But notice how those temps soar into the mid-80s toward the noontime hour. And then here comes the big heat eraser as we go through the weekend, Saturday night into Sunday. Cold front's going to work its way through the Ohio River Valley, and look at that, 68 degrees. That's the high on Sunday, and that's likely in the early morning hours. I think by the afternoon, temperatures are falling back into the 50s. And then we have some chilly nights coming up. Check this out here in your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. I'm a big fan of Tuesday. I think I might already go ahead and call that the hometown home run forecast of the day. But, Michaela, we're starting Tuesday morning off into the mid-30s, and I think there can be some frost out there yet again, so gardeners beware. There's another round of chill coming our way in just several days out, so not too far away.
Yeah, well, I will say I'm pretty lucky because, you know, I like the heat. Next week I'll be in Florida, so I don't have to worry about the 30s.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope they're not going to see 30s down there. They're not, so
I know,
you'll
yes,
be fine.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I'm excited about that, but, you know, I'm sure, I mean, that's the perfect middle ground, you know, for everyone. I think it's hard to complain about 70s, and so that looks great. Just got to get through this hot heat stretch we've got going on right here.
Right. Hopefully a little bit of rain that we'll see on Sunday. We definitely need it. Yeah, the drought continues to intensify.
New drought monitor coming out here shortly, so we'll definitely highlight that on the show at noon.
Okay, yeah, definitely stay tuned, and check on those alerts that we send out, and stay with us here because we'll give you all the latest updates. All right, thank you so much, Justin.
Yeah, definitely.
And those of you watching, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. We're going to be talking about Lynchburg's new amphitheater that is opening next week. We are talking about what all went into that and what people can expect as far as performances and fun festivals. So stay with us for the latest on that. Welcome back to WDBJ 7 Plus. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm now joined by Clay Simmons. He is the Deputy Director of Public Works for the City of Lynchburg. Clay, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And so he is joining us to talk a little bit about the brand new amphitheater that is coming to Lynchburg. Super exciting, super long time coming. Clay, just kind of talk about the work that has gone into, building and bringing this amphitheater to life.
So it's been as you said, a long time coming. It's been in a number of long-range planning for the Riverfront Park to activate it as a music and performance space. So this is really the realization of seeing that happen. The project, it's always been a park, so we had that part kind of nailed down, but we are also, you had to do all of the infrastructure and kind of things that you don't think about. An immense amount of electrical infrastructure had to go into this. So that was, one of the bigger pieces aside from the structure itself. There were a lot of challenges with the site. The site was an old rail yard, so all of that debris was down underneath the surface of the ground and popped up really quickly when we started doing things like putting in foundations and that kind of thing. We had a great team with the design firm and with the Jamerson Lewis doing the construction for us. They used a lot of high technology in the design and the assembly of the structure. And we put together a really complicated structure. The steel erection itself was supposed to take 6 to 8 weeks. They were done in 8 days. And a lot of that, we give the nod to that, the use of the technology and the 3D laser scanning and all of those techniques that they were using in their shop, transitioning from the design to an actual structure.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Sounds like a lot went into it. A lot of high-end technology. That's awesome. And also coming up on April 24th, which is next Friday, we're actually going to be celebrating the completion of this thing. How long has this been in the works, though?
Again, it's been in plans for a number of years. The project got funded in, I believe it was 2023. And we went through the design process as part of that. It was actually a bit of the COVID grant funding gave us an opportunity to be able to fund the project in a relatively short period of time. And so we've been under construction for just over 2 years.
Okay. Wow.
With assembly and the boots on the ground portion.
Yeah. Okay, that ain't too bad. Did y'all run into any hiccups or problems along the way when it, comes to building or even just any of the infrastructure?
Yeah, really the big challenge was the foundation and what we had under the ground there. We were working around a lot of utilities, we had a lot of utility conflicts, but really they were kind of known challenges up front, and the contractor and design team handled it really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's great. That is good news to hear. And talk about the impact that this is going to bring, to the Lynchburg community, because this is, I'm sure, going to draw people from all over the place.
Yeah, that's really our hope with this. Again, we did a lot of performances and concerts and that kind of thing down at the Riverfront Park historically, but they were always smaller and lower end affairs. And this is really going to bring a professional grade music performance space to the park, and we're hoping get us a whole different level of artists that's willing to come in here. We've got a great operator that's on tap that's working with us to program the space, and already they're showing a lot of horsepower in the kind of acts that they're looking to bring in. So, all of that's going to be tax revenue for downtown. Our hotels are going to get activated, more frequently due to concerts. The restaurant scene and bar scene as well are going to be, benefactors of this. And ultimately, the community overall is the hope.
Yes, for sure. No, I'm super excited about it. I've seen a lot of shows over at the Elmwood Park here in Roanoke, so I can only imagine how that's going to go out there in Lynchburg. And then, again, y'all have a celebration coming up next Friday, April 24th. Talk about what people can expect from that.
So there's, aside from the ribbon cutting itself, we're also going to have a free concert afterwards, and Bigfoot Country is going to be performing, so they will be the first concert, and it's going to be again a free concert open to the public, so we hope to see everybody out there. And then following up in May, we've got another couple of concerts scheduled with some larger bands coming in. I think Everclear is the first act coming in on the 21st, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And then later in the month, we've got ZZ Top and Dwight Yoakam coming in. So some bigger name folks that have that recognition that we're seeing coming to us.
Yes, I agree. I mean, when I looked at the lineup, because over on the website for the new amphitheater, you can see all of some of the artists that are planned to come, over the next few months, and it's impressive to see. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. We are as well.
Yes, for sure. And it is right along the river too, so just a beautiful area to walk around and see and be outside and enjoy, entertainment and performances and lots of restaurants too around there in the downtown area to check out. So awesome. Clay, thank you so much for joining us to talk a little bit more about this. Again, that grand opening ribbon cutting event is on Friday, April 24th. Definitely want to make sure to check that out. And yeah, thank you so much for being here with us.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, same here. All right, y'all, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more WDBJ 7 Plus after this. Thank you so much for staying with us here on WDBJ 7 Plus. We appreciate you tuning in today. And as always, make sure to stick around for our 12 o'clock newscast coming up at noon. And then we also have our First Alert Hometown Weather Show here on WDBJ 7 Plus at 2 o'clock. And then you've got the rest of our newscast from 3 to 6. And then as always, our Hometown Sports Huddle show here on Plus is at 6:30 as well. So lots of great content coming up for you today. Throughout the day here on WDBJ 7 Plus. And as always, you can check us out over on our website, WDBJ7.com, where we've got all the previous shows of our WDBJ 7 Plus episodes and specials over there, just exclusive content that you can only find on Plus. And of course, you can watch us on your streaming platform, your phone, and make sure to follow us over on social media as well, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we'll make sure to keep you updated on all things news, weather, and your latest updates and alerts. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you back here tomorrow on Friday. We are almost to the weekend. We'll be back at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for watching.